The smell of grease and desperation clings to my uniform as I push through the kitchen doors of Luca's, the upscale Italian restaurant where I've been pulling double shifts for the past 3 months. My feet throb in shoes that are half a size too small, the only pair I own without holes, and my lower back sends sharp protests with every step. I'm 20 minutes into a 12-hour shift, and I already want to cry. But crying doesn't pay rent. Crying doesn't buy groceries or cover daycare fees for my 4-year-old daughter, Emma. Table 12 needs water refills. Marco, the floor manager, barks at me as I tie my apron. His eyes are bloodshot, stressed. And table 7 just sat down. VIP section. I nod, grabbing a water pitcher with hands that shake slightly from exhaustion. Last night, Emma had a fever that kept us both up until 4 in the morning. I'd called in sick to my morning shift at the diner across town, which means I'm down $80 I desperately needed. The eviction notice tucked in my purse feels like it's burning a hole through the fabric. 3 days. I have 3 days to come up with $1,200, or Emma and I are on the street. Maya. Marco snaps his fingers in front of my face. Focus. Table 7. They're important. How important? I ask, smoothing down my black skirt. His jaw tightens. The kind of important where if you mess up, we both lose our jobs. Got it. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. I nod again, my stomach twisting into knots. I grab my order pad and make my way through the dining room, weaving between tables of well-dressed patrons who probably spend more on one meal than I make in a week. The VIP section is separated from the main dining area by frosted glass panels and lush plants. More private, more exclusive, more dangerous, apparently, based on Marco's reaction. I pause at the edge of a section, taking a deep breath to steady my nerves. Through the frosted glass, I can make out the silhouettes of 4 men seated at the corner table. One sits with his back to the wall, the power position I remember reading somewhere. The others face him in various postures of deference. Professional, efficient, invisible. That's what Marco always says. Do your job, don't make conversation, don't ask questions. I push through the glass partition. The temperature seems to drop 10 degrees as I enter the VIP section. All 4 men turn to look at me, but only one gaze locks onto mine with such intensity that I nearly stumble. He sits exactly where I expected, back to the wall, commanding the table without saying a word. Dark hair swept back from a face that could have been carved from marble. Sharp jawline, high cheekbones, but it's his eyes that freeze me in place. Dark, calculating, ancient in a face that can't be older than 35. Eyes that have seen things, done things, that would make normal people flinch. He wears a charcoal suit that probably costs more than 6 months of my rent, crisp white shirt open at the collar, no tie. A watch glints at his wrist, platinum, I think. The kind you see in magazine ads, never in real life. The other 3 men are equally well-dressed, but they fade into the background. Shadows compared to his son. Good evening, gentlemen, I say, proud when my voice doesn't shake. Welcome to Luca's. My name is Maya, and I'll be taking care of you tonight. Can I start you with some drinks? The man with the ancient eyes doesn't look away from me as he speaks. McAllen, 25. Neat. His voice is deep, smooth, with the barest hint of an Italian accent that makes my skin prickle. I write it down, then turn to the others. They order quickly. Scotch, bourbon, vodka, and I memorize each one. I've learned not to ask people to repeat themselves. It makes you seem incompetent. I'll have those right out for you, I say, turning to leave. Wait! The command is soft, but it stops me as effectively as if he'd grabbed my arm. I turn back to face him. His eyes travel over me, not in the leering way some men look at waitresses, but with an assessment that feels far more invasive. Like he's cataloging every detail, filing it away for future reference. You're new, he says. Not a question. 3 months, sir. You don't look like you've slept in days. The observation is so unexpected, so personal, that I don't know how to respond. My hand instinctively touches my face, where I tried to cover the dark circles with concealer this morning. I'm fine, I say, lifting my chin slightly. I'll get those drinks for you. This time when I turn, he doesn't stop me. My hands shake as I place the drink order at the bar. The bartender, An older Italian man named Gio raises an eyebrow when he sees the Scotch order. "Table 7, he asks quietly. I nod. He lets out a low whistle, already reaching for the top shelf. "Be very, very careful, Piccola. That man doesn't tolerate mistakes." "Who is he?" Gio looks at me like I've just asked who the president is. "You really don't know?" I shake my head. He leans closer, voice dropping to barely a whisper. "Dante Caruso. He owns this restaurant, and about 20 others across Chicago, along with some businesses that aren't on any official paperwork." My blood runs cold. I'd heard the name whispered in the kitchen, always with a mixture of fear and respect. Dante Caruso, the man who supposedly ran the South Side with an iron fist. The man connected to everything from construction to shipping to God knows what else. The kind of man you don't want noticing you exist. Gio places the drinks on my tray with careful precision. "Just do your job. Don't make eye contact unless he asks you a direct question. Don't volunteer conversation. In and out, capice?" "Capice!" I echo, my mouth dry. I deliver the drinks with trembling hands, setting each one in front of its owner without spilling a drop. Dante Caruso, because now I can't think of him as anything else, watches my every movement. When I place a scotch on the table, his fingers brush mine for the briefest instant. The contact is electric, deliberate. "Thank you, Maya," he says, my name sounding different in his mouth. Intimate somehow. I nod and retreat, my heart hammering against my ribs. The next hour passes in a blur of taking their orders, delivering courses, refilling drinks. The men talk business in low voices, sometimes in English, sometimes in Italian. I catch fragments, shipping schedules, territory disputes, names I don't recognize. I keep my face carefully blank, acting like I hear nothing, understand nothing. Invisible. Just like Marco said, by the time they're finishing their entrees, my feet have gone from throbbing to numb. I'm calculating how many hours until my shift ends, how I'm going to pick up Emma from my neighbor's apartment, whether I should call my landlord again to beg for an extension. I'm so lost in my thoughts that I don't notice the mix-up until it's too late. There are 2 checks sitting at the service station, both for table 7. One is the actual bill for Dante Caruso's table. The other is a note from Marco to the kitchen staff about a food order for tomorrow. I grab what I think is a check and place it in the leather folder we use for VIP tables. I don't open it. I never do. It's not my business to look at how much these people spend. I approach the table with what I hope is a professional smile. The men have finished eating. They're relaxed now, the tension from earlier in the evening dissipated by good food and expensive alcohol. "Whenever you're ready, sir," I say, placing the folder in front of Dante Caruso. He nods, not looking up from his phone. I start to turn away when I hear the leather folder open. Then silence. A silence so complete, so heavy, that it feels like the air has been sucked from the room. I turn back slowly, dread pooling in my stomach. Dante Caruso is staring at the paper in his hand. His face has gone completely still, all expression wiped clean. But his eyes are burning with something that looks like fury and fear mixed into one terrifying emotion. The other 3 men have frozen, sensing the shift in their leader's demeanor. "Maya." My name is barely a whisper, but it cuts through the silence like a blade. "Come here." My legs move on autopilot, carrying me back to the table even as every instinct screams at me to run. I stop beside his chair, and he holds up the paper. It's not the check. It's a handwritten note on Luca's stationery. But the words aren't about food orders. In blocky, urgent capital letters, someone has written, "Your driver is dead. Car rigged. Kitchen exit now." The world tilts sideways. I grab the edge of the table to steady myself, my mind racing. How did that note get in the check folder? Who put it there? Why would someone? Dante's hand closes around my wrist. Not hard enough to hurt, but firm enough that I couldn't pull away even if I tried. His eyes meet mine, and what I see there makes my breath catch. Not anger at me. Something else. Calculation. Decision. "Do you know what this is?" he asks quietly. "No, sir. I must have grabbed the wrong." "Who gave you this folder?" "No one. I picked it up from the service station. I thought it was your check. I swear I didn't." He holds up his free hand, silencing me. Then he looks at the other 3 men. Vincent, call Lorenzo. Find out where he is. Michael, check the parking garage. Antonio, sweep the kitchen. Now. The three men move instantly, pushing back from the table and heading in different directions. I'm left standing there, Dante's hand still wrapped around my wrist, his thumb resting against my racing pulse. I'm so sorry, I whisper. I didn't mean to. Whatever this is, I didn't. This saved my life, he says, his voice so low only I can hear it. His eyes search mine. Did you write this? No. I told you I thought it was the check. I didn't even look at it until. A crash echoes from the kitchen, followed by shouting. Dante stands in one fluid motion, pulling me with him. How many exits does this restaurant have? What? Kitchen, front door, what else? My mind stutters, trying to process. There's a delivery entrance in the back alley. Staff entrance on the east side. Fire exits in. The delivery entrance. Can you get us there without going through the main kitchen? Us. He said us. Yes, but. Then move. Now. He's already walking, his hand sliding from my wrist to my hand, his grip unbreakable. I have no choice but to stumble along beside him, weaving between tables where other diners are starting to notice the commotion. My things, I protest weakly. My purse is in the staff lockers. Leave it. We're moving through the restaurant now, past startled waiters and confused patrons. Dante's presence parts the crowd like a ship cutting through water. No one questions him. No one dares. I lead him down a narrow hallway past the bathrooms, through a storage area filled with extra chairs and linens, to a heavy metal door marked deliveries only. Dante pushes it open, revealing a dark alley that smells of garbage and rain. A black SUV sits at the curb, engine running. But there's something wrong. The driver's side door is ajar, and slumped against the steering wheel. I turn away before I see more, while rising in my throat. Dante's hand tightens on mine. Don't look, he says, his voice hard. Then into his phone. Vincent. Parking garage. Now. Bring your car. We stand in the shadow of the doorway, Dante's body positioned between me and the street, between me and that horrible vehicle with its horrible cargo. His other hand has moved to the small of my back. Protective, proprietary. Who are you? I whisper, even though I already know. Even though Gio already told me. He looks down at me, his dark eyes unreadable in the dim light. Someone who just became very interested in how that note ended up in your hands. I told you I didn't. I know. His thumb traces a small circle on my lower back, a gesture that seems unconscious, automatic. Which means someone put it in that folder, knowing you would bring it to me. Someone who knew I would believe a mistake over a direct warning. The implications crash over me like cold water. Someone inside the restaurant. Someone who knew where I'd be, what I'd do. Someone who just made me part of whatever dangerous game Dante Caruso plays. A sleek black Mercedes screeches to a stop at the mouth of the alley. The man Dante called Vincent is behind the wheel. We need to go, Dante says, already pulling me toward the car. Wait, no. I can't. I have to pick up my daughter. She's with my neighbor and I. He stops, so abruptly I nearly crash into him. His eyes, when they meet mine, have changed. Sharpened. You have a daughter. Yes. She's 4. She's waiting for me and I need to. Where? What? Where is she? His voice is clipped urgent. Address. Now. I rattle off my apartment building, my mind screaming that this is insane, that I shouldn't be telling this man where I live, where Emma is. Dante barks the address to Vincent, then opens the back door of the Mercedes. Get in. I don't understand. Why do you? Someone just tried to kill me, Maya. Someone who knew my schedule, my car, my driver. Someone inside my organization. His jaw tightens. And they used you to warn me, which means they know exactly who you are. Where you live. Where your daughter is. The world drops out from under me. No, I whisper. No, this is a mistake. I'm nobody. I'm just a waitress who grabbed the wrong piece of paper. You stopped being nobody the moment you put that note in my hand. His expression softens almost imperceptibly. I'm sorry, but right now, the safest place for you and your daughter is with me. Do you understand? I don't. I don't understand any of this. But I think of Emma, her sweet face, her gap-toothed smile, her complete dependence on me to keep her safe. And I get in the car. The Mercedes tears through Chicago streets at speeds that make my stomach lurch. Dante sits beside me in the back seat, phone pressed to his ear, issuing commands in rapid Italian that I can barely follow. Vincent drives with the practiced precision of someone who's done this before, weaving through traffic, taking corners that make the tires scream. I grip the door handle so hard my knuckles turn white, my mind spiraling. Emma! I need to get to Emma. The building is being watched, Dante says, pulling the phone away from his ear. His eyes find mine in the dim interior of the car. 2 men in a sedan across the street. They've been there for 40 minutes. My heart stops. How do you? I have people everywhere, Maya. He says it matter-of-factly, like having surveillance networks across the city is normal. They spotted the sedan 20 minutes ago and have been monitoring since. Will they hurt her? My voice cracks on the last word. Something in his expression shifts. Softens. No. They're watching, not acting. But we need to move fast. The car screeches to a stop 3 blocks from my apartment building. Dante turns to me, his hand closing over mine where it still death grips the door handle. Listen to me carefully. Vincent, and I will go in first. You'll wait here with Marco. He gestures to a second car that's pulled up behind us. When did that happen? Once we confirm it's clear, you get your daughter, and whatever you need for a few days. 5 minutes maximum. Do you understand? I don't. This is insane. I should call the police. The police can't protect you from what's coming. His grip tightens fractionally. I can. But you need to trust me. I don't even know you. No, he agrees. But you know that note was real. You know my driver is dead. You know someone is watching your building right now. His thumb brushes across my knuckles, the gesture surprisingly gentle. And you know I'm your best option for keeping your daughter safe. I want to argue. I want to tell him he's wrong, that I can handle this myself, that I don't need a man, especially not a dangerous one like him, to save me. But Emma's face flashes in my mind. Her giggle when I tickle her. Her small hand in mine. Her complete, terrifying vulnerability. Okay, I whisper. Dante nods once. Then he's out of the car, moving with a grace that shouldn't be possible for a man his size. Vincent follows, and I watch through the window as they approach my building with the casual confidence of men who own the night. The man Dante called Marco slides into the driver's seat, his eyes never leaving the mirrors. He's younger than the others, maybe 30, with sharp features and a scar that runs from his temple to his jaw. He'll keep her safe, Marco says without looking at me. The boss, I mean. He doesn't make promises he can't keep. I don't respond. Can't respond. My entire world has tilted on its axis in the span of an hour. My phone buzzes in my pocket, the one thing I had on me when we fled the restaurant. It's my neighbor, Mrs. Chun, calling for the 3rd time. I answer with shaking hands. Maya. Finally. Where are you? Emma has been asking. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Chun. I'm almost there. 5 minutes. Is she okay? She's fine, but it's past her bedtime and... I know. I'm sorry. I'll be right there. I end the call before she can ask more questions I can't answer. Dante appears at my window, materializing out of the darkness like a ghost. He opens the door. It's clear. Let's move. Mrs. Chen's apartment is on the 3rd floor, 2 floors above mine. I take the stairs 2 at a time, Dante close behind me, his presence a solid wall of protection at my back. I knock on Mrs. Chen's door, trying to school my expression into something that won't terrify my elderly neighbor. She opens it with a frown that deepens when she sees Dante behind me. Maya, who is? A friend, I say quickly. Mrs. Chun, I'm so sorry for the delay. Work ran late and... Mama! Emma barrels past Mrs. Chen's legs and crashes into me with the force of a small hurricane. I scoop her up, burying my face in her hair, breathing in the scent of the strawberry shampoo I used this morning. This morning. A lifetime ago. Hi, baby, I whisper, fighting back tears. Were you good for Mrs. Chen? Aha. We watched Frozen and she made me mac and cheese and... Emma's words die as she notices Dante. Her eyes go wide, taking in his expensive suit, his imposing presence. Who's that? This is a friend from work. The lie tastes bitter. Emma, we need to go home and pack a bag. We're going on a little trip. A trip? Where? Somewhere fun. But we need to hurry, okay? Mrs. Chun is watching us with obvious suspicion, her gaze moving between me and Dante. Maya, is everything all right? You look. Everything's fine. Thank you so much for watching her. I'm already backing toward the stairs, Emma in my arms. I'll explain everything later, I promise. We're halfway down the stairs before Mrs. Chun can protest further. My apartment is on the first floor, thank God. I unlock the door with fumbling fingers, my mind racing through what we'll need. Clothes for Emma. Her stuffed rabbit she can't sleep without. My laptop. Important documents. 5 minutes, Dante reminds me, positioning himself by the window, eyes scanning the street below. I move through the tiny apartment like a tornado, stuffing things into Emma's princess backpack and my battered duffel bag. The eviction notice on the counter catches my eye. 3 days. In 3 days, this apartment would have been lost anyway. Maybe that note was more than a warning. Maybe it was an escape route. Mama, where are we going? Emma asks from her bed, where she's clutching her stuffed rabbit. On an adventure, I tell her, forcing brightness into my voice. To a big house with a pool, Dante says from the doorway, his voice surprisingly gentle. And a garden. And probably some very spoiled cats who need someone to play with them. Emma's eyes light up. Really? Really? He crouches down to her level, making himself less imposing. My name is Dante. I work with your mama. Are you her boss? A ghost of a smile touches his lips. Something like that. Ready, I say, slinging both bags over my shoulder. Let's go. The ride to wherever Dante is taking us stretches into an eternity. Emma falls asleep against my side, her rabbit clutched to her chest, exhausted from staying up past her bedtime. I stroke her hair, my mind numb with shock and fear and a dozen other emotions I can't name. We leave the city behind, heading north into neighborhoods I've only seen on TV. The houses get bigger, the lots more spread out, the streetlights fewer and farther between. Finally, we turn through a set of imposing iron gates that open automatically. The driveway is long, winding through mature trees and manicured lawns. And at the end, a mansion. There's no other word for it. 3 stories of stone and glass, lit from within like a jewel box. Wings extending on either side. Balconies and terraces. Gardens that probably have their own staff. This is your house. I breathe. One of them. Dante says it without arrogance, just stating a fact. He opens the car door as we pull up to the front entrance. Come. I'll show you to your rooms. Rooms. Plural. I gather Emma in my arms. She barely stirs, and follow Dante through massive double doors into a foyer that makes me stop and stare. Marble floors. A chandelier that probably costs more than I've earned in my entire life. A curved staircase that belongs in a movie. A woman in her 50s appears from a side hallway, her gray hair pulled into a neat bun. She takes in our disheveled appearance, without a flicker of judgment. Sophia, this is Maya and her daughter Emma. They'll be staying with us. Please prepare the blue suite. Dante's voice is all business now. And have the kitchen send up something light. They haven't eaten. Of course, Mr. Caruso. Sophia's accent is Italian, warm despite the formality. Her eyes soften when she sees Emma sleeping in my arms. The poor bambina. Come, I'll show you up. I follow her up the grand staircase, down a hallway lined with artwork that looks like it belongs in a museum, to a set of double doors at the end. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. The blue suite is larger than my entire apartment. A sitting room with plush sofas and a fireplace. A bedroom with a king-size bed that looks like sleeping on a cloud. And connected to it, a smaller bedroom clearly meant for a child, decorated in soft yellows and creams. The bathroom is through there, Sophia says, gesturing to another door. There are toiletries, towels, robes. If you need anything else, just pick up the house phone and dial 0. She disappears before I can thank her, leaving me standing in the middle of impossible luxury with my sleeping daughter in my arms. I lay Emma down on the small bed, tucking her rabbit beside her. She doesn't wake, just curls into a ball the way she always does. I stand there for a moment, watching her chest rise and fall, making sure she's really okay, really safe. Then I sink onto the edge of the bed and let myself fall apart. The tears come silently, shoulders shaking with the force of holding them in. Everything that's happened tonight crashes over me like a wave. The note, the dead driver, the men watching my building, this house, this life I've stumbled into, and Dante Caruso, whose dark eyes seem to see straight through me. A soft knock makes me swipe frantically at my tears. Come in. I call, my voice hoarse. Dante enters carrying a tray laden with sandwiches, fruit, and what looks like tea. He sets it on the small table by the window, then turns to face me. In the soft lamplight, he looks different, less intimidating. The hard edges of his face soften slightly, and I notice for the first time the shadows under his own eyes, the tension in his shoulders. You should eat, he says quietly, mindful of Emma sleeping nearby. I'm not hungry. Eat anyway. It's not quite a command, but close. He pulls out a chair at the table. Please. I join him because I don't have the energy to argue. The sandwich is incredible. Fresh bread, real turkey, vegetables that taste like they came from a garden, not a grocery store. I hadn't realized how hungry I was until I'm halfway through it. Dante watches me eat, nursing a glass of what looks like whiskey. Thank you, I say finally, for all of this, for keeping Emma safe. You don't need to thank me. Yes, I do. You didn't have to. Yes, he interrupts softly. I did. His eyes hold mine. Someone used you to get to me, Maya. That makes you my responsibility. Responsibility. The word stings more than it should. How long do we have to stay here? Until I find who planted that bomb. Until I neutralize the threat. He takes a sip of his whiskey. A few days. Maybe a week. A week. A week of missing work. Of explaining to Emma why we can't go home. Of living in this gilded cage. I'll lose my job, I say dully. Both of them. I was already on thin ice for calling in sick this morning. You won't need them. I look up sharply. Excuse me. Your jobs. You won't need them. He leans forward slightly. I'm offering you a position, Maya. In my organization. Legitimate work, he adds, seeing my expression. Administrative. Management of some of my restaurants. Better hours, better pay, better everything. I don't want your charity. It's not charity. His voice hardens slightly. I need people I can trust. People who are loyal. You saved my life tonight, whether you meant to or not. That counts for something. I didn't save your life. I just brought you the wrong piece of paper. And in doing so, you put yourself and your daughter in danger. He sets down his glass with deliberate care. Let me protect you, Maya. Let me give you both the life you deserve. The offer is tempting. God is tempting. No more double shifts. No more choosing between electricity and groceries. No more eviction notices, or shoes with holes, or Emma wearing clothes that are too small, because I can't afford new ones. But accepting it means accepting him. His world. His darkness. I need to think about it. I say finally. He nods, standing. Of course. We'll talk more in the morning. He moves toward the door, then pauses. Maya, you're safe here. Both of you. I give you my word. Why should I believe you? He turns back, and something in his expression makes my breath catch. Because I know what it's like to be desperate. To do anything to protect someone you love. His jaw tightens. And because I've never broken a promise in my life. Then he's gone, the door clicking softly shut behind him. I finish my sandwich in silence, my mind spinning with everything he said, everything he's offering. Then I check on Emma one more time, still sleeping peacefully, unaware of how her world has just been turned upside down, and fallen to the massive bed in the adjoining room. Sleep should be impossible, but exhaustion wins, dragging me under into restless dreams of dark eyes and dangerous promises. I wake to sunlight streaming through windows I don't recognize, and the sound of childish laughter. For a moment, I panic, my heart racing as I try to remember where I am. Then it comes flooding back. The restaurant. The note. Dante Caruso. Emma. I bolt upright, throwing off covers that feel like silk, and rush to the connecting room. Empty. Emma. I call, my voice sharp with fear. In here. Her voice comes from somewhere distant, echoing through the massive house. I run through the suite, down the hallway, following the sound of her laughter. It leads me down the grand staircase, through a massive living room, to a sunlit conservatory filled with plants and windows and Emma, sitting on the floor with 3 cats of various sizes, giggling as they climb over her lap, and Dante, sitting in a nearby chair with a cup of coffee, watching her with an expression I can't quite read. He looks up as I enter, and something in his face shifts when he sees me. "Good morning. You should have woken me," I say, my voice sharper than I intend. I didn't know where she was. She woke up early. Sophia brought her down for breakfast. He gestures to a table laden with food, pastries, fruit, eggs, juice. I heard the commotion and came to investigate. Emma looks up, her face bright with joy. "Mama, look! This one's name is Principessa, and this one is Enzo, and this one doesn't have a name yet, but I think we should call her Butterscotch because she's yellow." Despite everything, I feel a smile tug at my lips. "They're beautiful, baby. Mr. Dante says they live here. Can we stay forever and ever?" My eyes meet Dante's over her head. He's watching me with that same unreadable expression. "We'll see, sweetheart. For now, let's have some breakfast." Emma reluctantly extricates herself from the cats and climbs into a chair at the table. I join her, acutely aware of Dante's presence, of how domestic the scene is. How wrong and right it feels at the same time. Sophia appears with fresh coffee and orange juice, smiling warmly at Emma. The Bambina has made friends with all the cats already. They never take to strangers this quickly. She has a way with animals, I say, watching Emma pile her plate with pastries. "She has her mother's eyes," Dante says quietly. I look up, startled by the personal observation. He's watching Emma with something like longing, pain. I can't tell. "Do you have children?" I ask before I can stop myself. "No." The word is clipped, final. He drains his coffee and stands. "I have meetings this morning. Marco will be stationed outside if you need anything. Sophia will help you with whatever Emma needs. The grounds are safe to explore, but don't leave the property." And just like that, he's gone, leaving me with more questions than answers. The morning passes in a strange sort of limbo. Emma is delighted by the house. She explores every room Sophia will let her into, plays with the cats, discovers a game room with a TV bigger than our entire apartment. She's happier than I've seen her in months, and the guilt of that cuts like a knife. I should be giving her this joy, this security, this freedom from worry. Instead, I've given her eviction notices and 2 small clothes and a mother who's barely holding it together. After lunch, another elaborate spread that makes me feel guilty for eating, Sophia approaches me while Emma is napping, exhausted from her morning of exploration. "Mr. Caruso asked me to show you something," she says, her voice gentle. "If you're ready." I follow her to a different wing of the house, to an office that's all dark wood and leather and the scent of expensive cologne. Dante sits behind a massive desk, speaking rapidly in Italian into his phone. He looks up as we enter, gesturing for me to sit. He ends the call and turns his full attention to me. "Did you sleep well?" "Well enough." I perch on the edge of the chair. Emma loves the cats. A real smile touches his lips then, transforming his face. "They're strays, actually. I find them and bring them here. Sophia says I'm going soft in my old age." The image of this dangerous man rescuing stray cats does something strange to my heart. "About last night," he says, his expression growing serious. "About my offer. Have you thought about it? I need to understand what I'd be getting into." "What you really do, Dante." I force myself to hold his gaze. "I'm not stupid. I know you're not just a restaurant owner." He leans back in his chair, studying me. Then, with what looks like a conscious decision, he begins to talk. "My father built an empire in this city. Legitimate businesses, restaurants, real estate, construction. And less legitimate ones, protection, gambling, shipping things that don't go through official channels." His voice is matter-of-fact, like he's discussing the weather. "When he died 5 years ago, I inherited all of it. The good and the bad. You're telling me you're in the Mafia. I'm telling you I operate in the gray areas of business. I protect what's mine. I don't tolerate betrayal. And I've made enemies." His eyes darken. "One of whom tried to kill me last night. Do you know who?" "I have theories." We recovered footage from the restaurant's back alley. The bomb was planted by someone wearing kitchen staff uniform, but we can't make out the face. He pulls up something on his computer, turning the screen so I can see it. There. Right there. I lean forward, studying the grainy image. A figure in white chef's clothing, moving quickly, opening the driver's side door of the SUV. Could be anyone, I murmur. Yes. Which means the threat could come from anywhere. He closes the laptop, which is why I need you and Emma here, where I know you're safe. And the note. Do you know who wrote it? His jaw tightens. We're working on it. The handwriting doesn't match anyone in my immediate circle, but it could have been disguised. He pauses. Whoever it was, they saved my life. And they put you in the crosshairs to do it. The reminder sends a chill through me. You think they'll come after me? I think they're watching to see what I do next. How much I value you. His eyes hold mine. Which is why it's important that you're seen as part of my organization. Protected. Untouchable. You want to use me as bait? No. The word is sharp, vehement. I want to protect you. There's a difference. A knock at the door interrupts us. Marco enters without waiting for permission, his face grim. We found something, he says. You need to see this. Dante stands immediately. Watch over them, he tells Marco, gesturing to me and presumably Emma upstairs. Then to me. Stay in the house. Don't go outside. I'll explain everything when I get back. Where are you going? He's already moving toward the door. To have a conversation with someone who knows more than they should. Then he's gone, leaving me with Marco and a sick feeling in my stomach. The afternoon crawls by with excruciating slowness. Emma wakes from her nap, and we play with the cats, explore the garden under Marco's watchful eye, have an early dinner in the massive dining room that feels absurd for just the two of us. She asks about Dante twice. Where he is. When he's coming back. If he'll play with the cats with her tomorrow. I don't have answers to any of it. Night falls. Emma goes to bed easily, exhausted from another day of adventure. I sit in the sweet sitting room, unable to focus on the TV, a book, anything. The house phone rings at 9 o'clock. Hello. Maya. Dante's voice is rough, strained. I need you to do something for me. What's wrong? Are you okay? I'm fine, but I need you to stay calm and listen carefully. He pauses, and I hear voices in the background, urgent and sharp. There's a man in the garden, north side by the fountain. He's been watching the house for the past hour. My blood runs cold. Should I? Marco already knows. He's handling it, but I need you to go to Emma's room and lock the door. There's a panic button by the bed, red, mounted on the wall. If you hear anything unusual, any commotion, you press it. Understand? Yes. My voice is barely a whisper. Good. I'm 10 minutes away. Just hold on, Maya. I'm coming home. The line goes dead. I move on autopilot, rushing to Emma's room. She's still sleeping, unaware of the danger. I lock the door, find the panic button, it's disguised as a light switch plate, and position myself where I can see both Emma and the door. Then I wait. 5 minutes pass. 10. The house is silent except for the usual creaks and groans of an old building settling. Then I hear it. A crash from somewhere below. Shouting. A sound that might be a gunshot. My hand hovers over the panic button. Emma stirs but doesn't wake. More shouting. Running footsteps. Another crash. Then silence. I'm about to press the button when the door handle rattles. Maya. Dante's voice, muffled through the wood. It's me. Open the door. I fumble with the lock, yanking it open. He fills the doorway, his suit jacket gone, his white shirt torn and spattered with something dark. Blood, I realize with horror. His hair is disheveled, his face cut above one eye. But his eyes, when they meet mine, are blazing with something fierce and protective. You're safe, he says, his voice rough. He's been dealt with. Dealt with. I echo. What does that mean? He steps into the room, his eyes moving to Emma, still sleeping peacefully. Something in his expression softens. It means he won't be watching this house again. The implications hang in the air between us. Did you? I can't finish the question. No. But he'll wish I had by the time I'm done with him. He moves closer, his hand coming up to cup my face with surprising gentleness. Are you okay? I should pull away. I should be horrified by what he's implying, By the violence I can see evidence of on his clothes, his skin. Instead, I find myself leaning into his touch, my eyes closing briefly. I was scared. I know. I'm sorry. His thumb brushes across my cheek, and I realize I'm crying. I'm so sorry you're in this position. But I promise you, Maya, I will find whoever is behind this. And I will end them. The certainty in his voice should terrify me. Instead, it makes me feel safe. The next morning, I wake to find Dante gone and Sophia at my door with breakfast and an apologetic expression. Mr. Caruso had business in the city, she says, setting the tray down. He asked me to tell you he'll return this afternoon. Business. The word feels inadequate for whatever Dante is doing to the man from the garden. Emma bounces out of bed, oblivious to the violence that unfolded mere feet from where she slept. Is Mr. Dante coming back to play with us? Later, baby, I tell her, forcing brightness into my voice. For now, it's just us. But it's not just us. Marco shadows us everywhere, through breakfast, during Emma's exploration of the library, when we venture into the garden. He's polite but firm, keeping us within sight at all times. By midday, I'm restless. Trapped. The gilded cage feels smaller with each passing hour. I find Sophia in the kitchen, supervising lunch preparations. I need to know what's happening. Where Dante is. What he's doing. She looks up from the vegetables she's chopping, her expression sympathetic. Mr. Caruso is protecting you the only way he knows how. By keeping me in the dark. By keeping you alive. She sets down her knife. Maya, I've worked for the Caruso family for 20 years. I watched Dante grow from a boy into the man he is now. And I've never seen him bring a woman to this house. Never seen him care about anyone the way he cares about you and your daughter. He doesn't know me. It's been 2 days. Time means nothing when you recognize something essential in another person. Sophia's eyes are knowing, gentle. His father was the same way. When he met Dante's mother, he knew within hours that she was the one. Married her within a month. The revelation catches me off guard. What happened to her? Sophia's expression darkens. She died when Dante was 12. Cancer. His father never recovered, not really. He threw himself into his work, his empire, and pushed Dante to be strong. To never show weakness. She wipes her hands on her apron. But Dante is not his father. He feels things deeply, even if he doesn't show it. Before I can respond, Marco appears in the doorway. Boss is back. He wants to see you in his office. I follow him through the house, my heart pounding. What did Dante learn? Who's behind this? Dante stands at the window of his office, his back to me, hands in his pockets. He's changed clothes, now wearing jeans and a black sweater that makes him look younger, more approachable. The cut above his eye has been cleaned and bandaged. Close the door, he says without turning. I do, then wait. He's silent for a long moment, his shoulders tense. When he finally speaks, his voice is strained. The man from the garden talked. Eventually. I don't ask what eventually means. It's Marcus Salvatore, one of my father's old associates. He turns to face me, his expression grim. He thinks he should have inherited my father's empire when he died. He's been systematically trying to dismantle everything I've built, turning my allies against me, stealing my business, and now. His jaw tightens. Trying to kill me. Why use me to warn you then? Why not just let the bomb? Because he wants me to know it's him. Wants me to feel hunted. Dante moves closer, his eyes dark with barely contained fury. And he wanted to see what you meant to me. Whether you were just another employee or something more. And what am I? The question slips out before I can stop it. He stops mere inches from me, close enough that I can smell his cologne, see the gold flecks in his dark eyes. Something more, he says quietly. Much more. My breath catches. Maya, I need to tell you something. He runs a hand through his hair, a gesture that betrays his agitation. The note in the restaurant. We found who wrote it. Who? Vincent. One of my most trusted men. His voice is hollow. He's been feeding information to Salvatore for months. The note was his way of trying to make amends without fully betraying either side. He thought if I survived, I might spare him. Will you? Dante's expression hardens. No. The finality of it sends a chill through me. This is his world. Swift. Brutal. Unforgiving. Marcus knows about Emma now, Dante continues. Knows she's here, knows what she means to you. And he'll use that knowledge if he gets the chance. He cups my face in his hands, his touch gentle despite the violence in his words. I can end this, Maya. I can end him. But it will be bloody, dangerous, and it might change how you see me, how I see you. I echo. I'm not a good man. I've done things that would make you run if you knew the details. His thumb traces my cheekbone. But I'm trying to be better. For you. For Emma. Because somehow, in the span of 2 days, you've become the most important thing in my world. The confession steals the air from my lungs. I don't understand, I whisper. How can you feel that way so quickly? I don't understand it either. A ghost of a smile touches his lips. But I know that when I thought that bomb might kill me, my last thought was regret that I'd never see you again. That I'd never figure out what this connection between us means. His forehead rests against mine. And when I saw that man watching my house, watching you, I wanted to tear him apart with my bare hands. Dante, I'm not asking you to love me, Maya. Not yet. But I'm asking you to give me a chance. To see if this thing between us is real. His eyes search mine, vulnerable in a way I've never seen. Stay with me. Not as an employee. Not as someone I'm protecting. But as my partner. In everything. The word hangs in the air between us. Partner. Equal. Not possession, not charity. Before I can answer, the office door bursts open. Marco stands there, his face white with panic. Boss. We have a problem. Emma's gone. The world stops. What do you mean gone? Dante's voice is deadly calm, but I can feel the tension radiating from him. She was in the library with Sophia 5 minutes ago. Sophia went to get her juice. When she came back, Emma was gone. We're searching the house now, but I'm already running, Dante's hand catching mine, pulling me along as we race through the house. Emma! I scream, my voice cracking. Emma! Baby, where are you? Staff appear from everywhere, spreading through rooms, calling her name. Marco barks orders into his phone, coordinating the search. We check every room, every closet, every hiding spot. The library, the game room, the conservatory with the cats. Nothing. Check the security footage, Dante orders, his voice tight with controlled panic. Every camera. Now. We crowd into his office where Marco pulls up the feeds. We watch Sophia leave the library, watch Emma sitting on the floor with a picture book. Then, impossibly, a figure appears in the doorway. Male. Tall. Wearing staff uniform. Emma looks up, smiles, says something we can't hear. The man extends his hand. Emma takes it without hesitation, letting him lead her from the room. There, Dante says, pointing. Front door. Heading to the east garden. We're running again, out the front doors, through the manicured lawn. Dante pulls a gun from somewhere. When did he arm himself? And Marco does the same. Stay behind me, Dante orders, but I ignore him, my mother's instinct overriding any sense of self-preservation. We round a corner and there, by the fountain, I see them. Emma stands holding the hand of a man I don't recognize. He's older, maybe 60, with silver hair and a face that might have been handsome once but now just looks cruel. And he's holding a gun pointed at my daughter's head. Dante! I scream, lunging forward. Dante catches me, pulling me back against him, his arm like iron across my waist. Don't, he breathes in my ear. Not yet! Let her go, Marcus, Dante calls out, his voice steady despite the situation. This is between you and me. Marcus Salvatore smiles, and it's the coldest thing I've ever seen. But that's where you're wrong. This stopped being about business the moment you brought them into your home. He gestures with the gun toward me, and I feel Dante's whole body tense. You've gone soft, boy, just like your father did at the end. My father never went soft. He just learned what was worth protecting. And is she? Marcus asks, his eyes finding mine. Is this waitress and her bastard daughter worth your empire? The word makes rage flood through me, hot and vicious. Don't you dare. Maya. Dante's voice is a warning. Then louder. What do you want, Marcus? I want you to know what it feels like to lose everything. Marcus crouches down to Emma's level, the gun never wavering. This sweet little girl. Such pretty eyes. It would be a shame. You hurt her and I will make you beg for death, Dante says, his voice so cold it makes me shiver. I will take everything you love, everyone you care about, and I will destroy them in front of you before I finally end your miserable existence. Marcus laughs. Big words from a man who can't move without killing the child. He doesn't have to move. The voice comes from behind Marcus. Vincent steps into view, a gun trained on Marcus's head. Marcus's eyes widen. You're supposed to be dead. Yeah, you sent those boys to clean up your loose end. Vincent's face is bruised, bloody, but his gun hand is steady. They failed, and now I'm done playing both sides. You betray me now. Marcus snarls. I'm done betraying anyone. Vincent's eyes meet Dante's, especially the man whose father saved my life more times than I can count. The moment stretches, taut as a wire. Then Emma, sweet, innocent Emma, stomps on Marcus's foot with all her 4-year-old strength. You're mean, she shouts. Marcus yelps, his grip on her loosening for just a second. It's all the opening Dante needs. He moves with speed I didn't know was possible, covering the distance in 3 strides. His hand locks around Marcus's wrist, forcing the gun skyward. A shot fires, deafening, but it goes wild into the trees. I run forward, scooping Emma into my arms, spinning away from the violence erupting behind me. She buries her face in my neck, crying now, finally understanding that something is wrong. It's okay, baby, I murmur, carrying her away from the fountain, from the sounds of fists hitting flesh, from the ugliness of Dante's world. You're safe now. Mama's got you. Marco appears, guiding us back toward the house. Don't look back, he says quietly. But I do. I look back, just in time to see Dante standing over Marcus's prone form, Vincent beside him. Dante's knuckles are bloody. His face is a mask of cold fury. He looks up, his eyes finding mine across the garden. For a moment, we just stare at each other. Him in his violence, me with my daughter in my arms. This is who he is. This is his world, and I have to decide if I can live in it. I sit in Emma's room for hours after, holding her while she sleeps. Her tears finally dried. She cried herself out in my arms, asking why the man was mean, why he had a gun, why Mr. Dante looked so scary. I didn't have answers. Not ones a 4-year-old could understand. There's a soft knock on the door. Sophia enters with tea and worry in her eyes. She's sleeping. I nod, unable to trust my voice. Mr. Caruso wants to see you when you're ready. No rush, she adds quickly. But he's waiting. I extract myself carefully from Emma's grip, tucking her rabbit more securely in her arms. In the hallway, Sophia stops me with a gentle hand on my arm. He sent Marcus away, she says quietly. Alive, but he won't be a threat anymore. Dante made sure of that. I don't ask for details. I find Dante on the terrace, staring out at the garden where everything happened. He's showered and changed, his knuckles bandaged, a fresh cut on his jaw. He doesn't turn when I approach, but I know he hears me. I'm sorry, he says, his voice rough, for all of it, for bringing this violence into Emma's life, into yours. I move to stand beside him, my arms wrapped around myself against the evening chill. Is it over? Yes. Marcus is contained. Vincent is back in my fold under watch. The threat has been neutralized. He finally looks at me, and the vulnerability in his eyes nearly breaks me. But you're going to leave, aren't you? Am I? The smart thing would be yes. To take Emma and run as far from this world as possible. Back to our tiny apartment, our eviction notices, our struggles. But at least it would be safe. Normal. Except it wouldn't be safe. Marcus might be gone, but there will always be another Marcus. Another threat, because men like Dante make enemies just by existing. I need you to be honest with me, I say finally. Will it always be like this? Will Emma always be a target because of me? Because of you. I can't promise it won't. His honesty cuts deep. But I can promise that I will protect you both with everything I have. That no one will ever get that close again. He turns to face me fully. Maya, I know this is insane. I know I'm asking you to accept a life you never chose, to expose your daughter to dangers you shouldn't have to consider. But I'm asking anyway, because the alternative, letting you walk away, never seeing you again, that's not something I can accept. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you're brave, strong, that you'd do anything for your daughter, that you don't judge me for what I am, even when you should. His hand reaches for mine, hesitant, asking permission. I know that when I'm with you, I want to be better. To be the man who deserves you. My eyes blur with tears. What if I can't do this? What if I'm not strong enough for your world? You are, he says with absolute certainty. You survived poverty, juggling 2 jobs, raising a child alone. You survived your fear today and ran toward your daughter, not away from danger. You're the strongest person I've ever met, Maya. I don't feel strong. I feel terrified. Then be terrified with me. He pulls me closer, his arms encircling me, solid and warm. Stay. Not in the guest suite, as someone I'm protecting, but here, with me, as my partner, my equal. Let me give you and Emma the life you deserve. Safety, security, a home. Let me love you the way I'm already starting to. The confession breaks something open in my chest. I don't know if I can love you back. I whisper against his chest. Not yet. It's too fast, too much. Then don't. Not yet. His lips press against my hair. Just stay. Give me time to earn it. I pull back to look up at him, this dangerous, violent, impossible man who rescued stray cats and protected a waitress he barely knew and looked at my daughter like she was precious. Emma likes you, I say, a smile tugging at my lips despite everything. She asked if you'd play with the cats with her tomorrow. His expression softens in a way that transforms his entire face. Does that mean you're staying? For now. The words feel like stepping off a cliff. Day by day. We'll see. Day by day, he agrees. Then, with devastating gentleness, he cups my face and kisses me. It's not the passionate, desperate kiss of movies. It's softer, sweeter, a promise rather than a demand. His lips move against mine with a tenderness I didn't know he possessed, and I find myself kissing him back, my hands fisting in his sweater, anchoring myself to this moment. When we break apart, he rests his forehead against mine. Thank you, he breathes, for giving me a chance. Don't make me regret it. Never. We stand there on the terrace as the sun sets, wrapped in each other's arms, and for the first time in longer than I can remember, I feel something like hope. 6 months later, I watch from the conservatory as Dante and Emma play in the garden, the cats weaving between their legs. Emma's laughter rings out as Dante pretends to be a monster chasing her, his steps deliberately slow, so she can't escape. She calls him Dante now, not Mr. Dante. And last week, she asked if he was going to be her daddy. I didn't know how to answer. Neither did he, judging by the panic in his eyes. But later that night, after Emma was asleep, he pulled me close and said, I would be honored. When you're ready. When she's ready. If you'll have me. My work with his restaurants has been fulfilling in ways I never expected. He wasn't lying about needing someone he could trust. I've taken over management of 3 locations, hired new staff, implemented systems that have increased efficiency and profits. I'm good at this, it turns out. Making order from chaos. Not so different from my old life, really. Just better paid. We haven't moved into his bedroom yet. I'm still in the suite, though Emma has her own room now, decorated exactly how she wanted, princess castle theme with cat paintings on the walls. Dante says there's no rush, that I can take all the time I need. But some nights, when the nightmares come, and they still do, memories of that gun pointed at Emma's head, I find myself at his door. And he always lets me in, holding me until the shaking stops, until I can breathe again. Mama! Emma calls now, waving frantically. Come play with us! I set down my coffee and head into the garden, into the sunshine, into this life I never expected but am learning to embrace. Dante watches me approach, something warm and possessive in his eyes. There she is, he says softly, pulling me against his side. Emma barrels into my legs, hugging me fiercely. We're playing tag and Dante is really bad at it because he lets me win. I don't let you win, Dante protests, mock offended. You're just faster than me. Emma giggles, delighted. Then she looks up at both of us, her expression suddenly serious. Are we going to live here forever? I meet Dante's eyes over her head. Would you like that? Yes. She bounces excitedly. I love the cats and Sophia makes the best cookies and there's so much space to play in. She pauses, then adds in a smaller voice. And Dante makes you smile, Mama. I like when you smile. My throat tightens with emotion. Dante crouches down to Emma's level, his expression gentle. I promise to keep making your mama smile. And to keep you both safe. Always. Do you promise? Emma asks seriously. Pinky promise. He holds out his pinky, and she links hers with his, sealing the deal with all the gravity a 4-year-old can muster. Promise, he agrees. Later, after Emma is in bed and the house has grown quiet, Dante and I stand on the terrace where we've had so many conversations. It's become our place, where we talk about his business, my work, Emma's progress in preschool, the future. I've been thinking, he says, pulling me into his arms, about what Emma asked today, about living here forever, about being a family. His hand comes up to tilt my chin, making me look at him. I know it's still early. I know you're still healing from everything that happened. But Maya, I need you to know, this isn't temporary for me. You and Emma, you're my family now. The declaration should terrify me. 6 months ago it would have. But now, looking into his dark eyes, feeling the steady beat of his heart under my palm, I realize that somewhere along the way, day by day as promised, I've fallen for him. I love you, I whisper, the words feeling both momentous and natural. I don't know when it happened, but I do. I love you, Dante Caruso. The joy that transforms his face is beautiful to witness. Say it again. I love you. He kisses me then, deep and thorough, his hands tangling in my hair. When we break apart, we're both breathless. I love you too, he says against my lips. More than I thought I could love anyone. You and Emma, you've given me something I didn't know I needed, a reason to be better. To build something worth protecting beyond just money and power. We're a lot of work, I tease, though my voice is thick with emotion. The best kind of work. He pulls back slightly, reaching into his pocket. Which is why I have something for you. A velvet box emerges, small and significant. My breath catches. Dante, I'm not proposing. Not yet. He opens it to reveal a delicate gold band set with small diamonds. This is a promise that I'm in this for the long haul. That when you're ready, if you're ready, I'll ask you properly. With Emma's permission and everything. I take the ring with shaking fingers, slipping it onto my right hand. It fits perfectly, of course. He would have made sure of that. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. He pulls me close again. Both of you. My girls. We stand there under the stars, wrapped in each other in promises, and I think about how life can change in an instant. How a wrong check brought to the wrong table can alter everything. How sometimes the most dangerous choice is also the right one. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you love the story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story. 2 years later. The wedding is small, private, just Sophia, Marco, Vincent, and a handful of others from Dante's inner circle. And Emma, of course, in her flower girl dress, taking her duties very seriously as she walks down the garden path scattering rose petals. I wear a simple white dress, nothing elaborate. This isn't about spectacle. It's about the three of us becoming official, a family. When Dante sees me walking toward him, his eyes fill with tears he doesn't bother to hide. Emma stands between us during the ceremony, holding both our hands, beaming with pride. I now pronounce you husband and wife, the officiant says. Dante kisses me softly, then scoops Emma up, kissing her forehead too. My girls, he whispers. Forever. Forever, Emma agrees solemnly. And as we walk back down the aisle together, the three of us, I think about the woman I was 2 years ago. Desperate, exhausted, barely surviving. She would never have believed this could be her life. But sometimes the wrong check delivered to the right man changes everything. Sometimes danger and love are two sides of the same coin. And sometimes the family you find is the one you were always meant to have. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you love this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.